Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a perfect fit for Mickey's Toontown in Disneyland. The queue is a completely unique experience filled with tons and tons of hidden details. There is so much for you to explore and discover, so let's not waste any time and count down the top 10 hidden secrets and Easter eggs in Disneyland's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Number 10. The Capitan Theater is the perfect grand entrance for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Now, on the left side of the marquee, it says it's a modern masterpiece. You may have noticed that certain letters are in red, and they just happen to spell out a hidden message. It says a must-see, and I would agree. Runaway Railway is definitely a must-see. Now, right in the middle of the theater, you'll find a ticket window. Don't miss this because it's filled with so many hidden references to Disney characters in the Toon world. First off, the girl in the heart-shaped frame. Remember her from a Goofy movie? She was in the Lester's Possum Park scene. Well, with her picture on the counter, it appears her mom, who's currently on a break, is the ticket booth agent. And look, she also bought a souvenir mug from Lester's Possum Park. Then that piece of paper on the table says, "Do not accept checks from some members of the Beagle Boys." The Beagle Boys were a group of criminals who always tried to rob Scrooge McDuck. Then to the left, sticky notes on the wall give nods to many other characters. There are Powerline tickets going on sale, more candy needs to be ordered from Goofy. I guess Scrooge is asking for some refunds, and it looks like Huey, Louie, and Dewey were here as well. Now, the one non-Toon reference is this sticky note to call Tilly. Who's Tilly, you might be thinking? Well, over on Main Street, Tilly is the name of the ticket booth agent at the Main Street Cinema. She's been doing the job for quite a while, so I'm sure she'll be able to answer any questions. Number 9. Once you enter the Capitan Theater foyer, the movie posters on the wall are all spoofs of live-action Disney films. First up, there's Toonsies, obviously inspired by the 1992 film Newsies. Mickey's even wearing his Buena Vista Street outfit. Next to that, we have Minnie Mouse in Mickey, I Shrunk the Nieces, based off the 1989 film Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Goofy Friday was inspired by the original 1976 version of Freaky Friday. And I love how the Toon tagline is father and son who never saw eye to eye, which references the song Eye to Eye from a Goofy movie. Then there's the absent-minded Professor Von Drake, inspired by the 1961 film High School Gooficle 3, obviously based off High School Musical 3. The Feisty Ducks, inspired by the original Mighty Ducks film in 1992. Miska Muska being the Toon version of Hocus Pocus. Walt Disney's Scroogiest Millionaire, based off the 1967 film The Happiest Millionaire. The Mouseketeer is the Toon version of 1991's Rocketeer. And lastly, there's the Chipmunk Trap, based off the 1998 remake of The Parent Trap. So if you had to choose one Toon version to actually become a real film, which one would you choose? Comment below. Number 8. The next part of the queue is set up as an exhibition honoring Mickey Mouse as if he were a real actor. It was all curated by Minnie Mouse, and it features props and costumes from Mickey's appearances over the decades. Now, the first room is what we can call the golden years of Mickey Mouse. It begins with Mickey's first appearance in Steamboat Willie in 1928. But there are two little hidden details in this room to keep an eye out for. The first is at the back with Sorcerer Mickey. If you're there just at the right time, some sorcerer magic might just bring his hat alive. Now, as you turn the corner, you'll come across this dresser, which is from a short called Lonesome Ghosts. Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are ghost exterminators who end up getting taunted by a group of ghosts. In the short, a ghost hides in the dresser and at one point shows up in the mirror. First off, they did such a great job with replicating the details of the cartoon world into physical objects. Now, if you stare at the mirror long enough, you might be met with a little surprise because it appears the ghosts snuck into the queue and are still trying to taunt Goofy. Number 7. It's hard to miss the giant beanstalk in the middle of this room focused on Mickey cartoons of the 1940s. Now, if we look at the description card on the beanstalk, it says, "This box from Mickey and the Beanstalk contains beans that some claim to be magic." With the magic bean box now on the floor, I think it's safe to say Minnie did not intend for one of the beans to sprout and burst through the ceiling. If you listen closely though, it sounds like it's still growing. Another one of my favorite details in this room are the props from Pluto's Christmas tree. The card says this classic short was supposed to star Pluto, but a couple tiny co-stars stole the show. Well, I think those tiny co-stars made it into the queue. And a pretty iconic moment from the short has been laid out on the fireplace mantle. You can see one of the Santa candles is missing his beard and hat. Well, in an attempt to hide from Pluto, Dale takes the hat and beard and tries to disguise himself. After he ran away, it fell off and, well, there it is. Also, those Christmas cards on the left-hand side are the exact same cards we see at the beginning of the short. I mean, the level of detail in here is incredible. It's Imagineering at its finest. Number 6. Two of the best hidden secrets can be found along the 70s disco wall. Now, in the disco era of Mickey Mouse, Disney actually released those two vinyl records on the wall. Mickey Mouse Disco was released in 1979, and the song playing in this room is actually from that album. Well, above the boombox, Mickey Mouse Disco was awarded a gold record. If we look at the logo of the record company, it's none other than G-Force Records. That's the fictitious record company from Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Florida. How cool is that? Then to the left, there's a prop desk from Mickey's Christmas Carol. Mickey would have used this when he played Bob Cratchit in the 1983 short. Well, there's a book on the desk, and the stuff written inside is actually significant. What just looks like random names of people who owe money? These are actually the first initials and the last names of the entire cast from Mickey's Christmas Carol. We have Alan Young as Scrooge McDuck, Wayne Allwine as Mickey Mouse, Hal Smith as Goofy, Will Ryan as Willie the Giant, Eddie Carroll as Jiminy Cricket, and Clarence Nash as Donald Duck. Now just note, the table is kind of high and it's a bit difficult to see the book at normal eye level unless you're really tall. If you're on the shorter side like me, raising your arm to take a picture does the trick. Number 5. It's not a theater without a concession stand. Now here at the El Capitan Theater, you can't actually buy anything, but there are so many hidden Easter eggs on these sweet treats. First off, can we talk about the power limes? I want to buy these. I love that so many Goofy movie Easter eggs were placed all throughout this queue. Of course, Stand Out references the song Stands Out, then They Set the World in Motion is a line from Eye to Eye. You can also win a free trip to Lester's Possum Park. And if you were wondering, this is not a piece of cake.
It's a piece of cake.
Now beside the power limes, there are Golly Pops. They have 3 classic character catchphrases, but under Golly Pops, it says Flower Street Treats. Well, Flower Street is actually a little nod to Walt Disney Imagineering. Their offices are located at 1401 Flower Street in Glendale, California. Then over in the display case on the left-hand side, you can find the original Laugh-O-Grams. This is a tribute to Laugh-O-Gram Films. Before Walt Disney founded the Walt Disney Company in 1923, he created Laugh-O-Gram Films in 1921. The packaging even includes characters from their short called Jack the Giant Killer. The candy references Walt Disney's first company, which was based out of Kansas City, Missouri. And if we look at the bottom of the candy package, it says it was manufactured in Kansas City. Now, prior to construction starting on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Toontown already had a tribute to Laugh-O-Gram Films on this window above the library. This is what's there today, but it's so great to know that another tribute to Laugh-O-Gram Films now exists inside the queue. Number 4. Back at the concession stand, there are even more hidden Easter eggs I need to point out. Let's start with the cash registers. You'll see the first one on the left gives us a price of $11.18. Then the second has a price of $19.28. Well, if we turn those numbers into a date, you'll get November 18th, 1928, which pays tribute to Mickey's debut in Steamboat Willie. I mean, he's the one who started it all. Looks like they're also giving out free candy on the 6th Tuesday of every month, which would equal never. And I love that Imagineers created a toon version of the Roasty Toasty. What's a Roasty Toasty, you might ask? Well, on each of the popcorn carts in the park, you can find these little mechanical figurines that date all the way back to when Disneyland first opened in 1955. Originally, the Roasty Toasties were all clowns. Then, as time went on, some of them were modified into other figures that matched each land or attraction. I mean, she fits right in with the rest. Now, the popcorn might look good enough to eat, but if you look closely, they're not your typical popcorn shapes. They're actually some very familiar toon characters. Here we have Donald Duck, this is Mickey Mouse, and Minnie's popping her head up here to say hi. On first glance, this is a hard detail to spot, but once you see it, you'll never not see these characters. Number 3. Directly across from the concession stand is the condiment bar, and it's filled with tons of puns, like ketchup if you're running behind and catsup, Figaro's finest. Now, the brand Bagora Orchards is actually pretty significant. It's a tribute to Patrick Bagora, the little leprechaun from the 1955 book The Little Man of Disneyland. The way the tale goes is that Patrick Bagora lived in a little house in the roots of a tree on the land originally filled with orange groves. That's how we get Bagora Orchards, established in 1955. Today, you can find Patrick's house hidden in Adventureland behind the tree that supports the sign for Indiana Jones. I also love that they use this little window in the logo. Then on the other side, the barbecue sauce says it's a classic smoke tree flavor. This is a reference to Smoke Tree Ranch, which was the property where Walt Disney had his vacation home in Palm Springs. The Smoke Tree Ranch logo can also be found on Walt Disney's tie in the partner statue. Then beside the barbecue sauce, there's what used to be mayonnaise, but is now some sort of secret sauce. It just happens to have an expiry date scratched off, which looks like January 24th, 1993. Well, that was the grand opening date of Mickey's Toontown. And the queue for Runaway Railway is what used to be the Toontown 5 and Dime Gag Factory gift shop. So the fact that all the original labels are scratched off signifies the removal of the original gift shop. And how great is it that we only lost the gift shop for a brand new ride? We need more of that. Number 2. With Runaway Railway being a ride based on Mickey Mouse, you can bet there are hidden Mickeys for days. They're literally everywhere you turn. But before you even leave the load station, there is a hidden Mickey and Minnie spelt out right in front of your eyes. Now, it's easier to see from the last 2 cars, but can you spot them? I'll give you a clue. Look above the train. Do you see it now? Well, what look like wood details on the top trusses, this one spells Minnie, and the one in front spells Mickey. How cool, right? Now, the ride itself has so many other hidden secrets, but since this is essentially the same ride as Hollywood Studios, minus a couple minor additions, a lot of the same secrets apply here. Lucky for you, there's a hidden secret in history video from 2020 that explains everything in the ride. So if you're interested in that, it's linked below and in the card on the right-hand side. Number 1. As you exit the ride, hanging on the wall is a picture of Walt Disney in one of the Disneyland trains. This picture can also be found in the exit at Hollywood Studios, but having it in Walt's park just hits different. Walt was fascinated with trains. The gift shop you exit into after the ride is called Engineer Souvenirs, and it's all themed to trains. Now, the logo features a particular vintage-looking train, and a model of that same train can be found above the shop's sign. Well, this train is actually based off a now-defunct Disneyland attraction. From June of 1957 until September of 1958, the Disneyland Viewliner gave guests a scenic tour of Tomorrowland and Fantasyland.
Walt has logged plenty of miles on all of the Disneyland trains. And since this is a special occasion, he'll be our special engineer.
It was removed to make way for the Tomorrowland expansion of 1959, but including this tribute to such a short-lived attraction is really exciting to see. The train here in Toontown is even named Toonliner. I mean, what a perfect opportunity to remember a little bit of Disneyland history. So what's your favorite hidden secret in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.